Storytime continues, part 5. It's been a couple of years since my divorce. I've had a chance to get out into the world and meet some new women. Instead of becoming a sponsored snowboarder, I am now sponsoring snowboarders. I have a ski team, a snowboard team, a skate team, a breakdancing team. We're even sponsoring a couple surfers, and we have a street racing team. We're throwing parties, breakdance battles, photo shoots, company trips to Vegas, having our corporate meetings on the chairlift. I'm popular, I'm well known, I'm loved. We have a 5,000 square foot warehouse. All the walls have been painted by some of the best graffiti artists in the city, if not the West Coast. Local magazines would come by to do photo shoots with our walls as their backgrounds. People would come from all over just to see the art. It was pretty much legendary. My company is called Ghetto Slider, and it was named after me and my snowboard crew that had been traveling the US for those 2 years. It didn't matter what age or race you were. Everybody loved the logo, everybody loved the name, everybody loved coming down to the warehouse. It was a blast. I was essentially raising my son there. By the time he was 5 years old, he could screen print a t-shirt. Not only were we making my designs and creations, but we were taking on contract work for $100 million, billion-dollar companies like Burton Snowboards, Red Bull, Toyota, Backcountry.com, just to name a few. We had over 300 clients, and we'd probably run 5,000 jobs in the span of a few years. A company that had started out as us making t-shirts in our kitchen with irons and selling them at the skate park had turned into an almost $500,000 company. Here I am holding the world in the palm of my hand, again. 2008 housing crash. The world economy collapses. People's entire 401ks, life savings are wiped out overnight. Massive companies are laying off tens of thousands of people, cutting their budgets. 95% of our clients trim their budgets overnight, including us. Now, had I been of sound mind and sound heart, I would have handled it like a champ. I would have navigated it like I had anything else in the past. The girl I was with and the people I was hanging out with at the time had an Oxycontin problem, as did I. I had been sober at this point, and now I was drinking every night, drinking coffee again, taking Oxycontin for my hangovers, and had picked up a Xanax, Klonopin, and morphine habit to deal with all the stress. Rather than turning to spirit, I turned to chemicals, and therein lied the consequence. I had that realization that everything I had been doing that was so much fun was just feeding my ego. I was not dealing with my trauma. I was stuffing my emotions. I was avoiding them and running from the past. And now it had all come to rear its ugly head at the same time. I remember sitting in my office at night, in the dark, with my feet up on my glass table after everybody had gone home after work at night, and I said out loud involuntarily, "Zoe, you have lost your soul." I had started writing the business plan for this when I was 18 years old, when I was working at a hotel in Park City, Utah. Meaning, I had been working on this thing for 10 years, and it just came to a grinding halt. And I was too inebriated to deal with it. Now I know this sounds like a tragedy, but looking back, when I realized, had I become a millionaire at that point, unlimited money and unlimited access to drugs and alcohol, I don't think I would have lived very much longer. I didn't know that at the time, but looking back, it was a blessing. I was definitely not on the path of the soul. I was definitely on the path of the ego. I was on an airplane that was going to crash into the mountain one way or another. At least I got out alive. Barely. So here I am, cold turkey off of all the drugs and alcohol at the same time. I've never been so sick in my life, and I'd never been in such a deep despair. No coach, no rehab, no therapist, and I refuse to go live with my mom. Not only am I having mega withdrawals, but I'm replaying the events from Dominic's death, my divorce, wondering where my son is, and I'm looking at this mountain that I have to climb again. I have just destroyed my life for the second time. This is also known as a shamanic initiatory crisis, or shamanic death. This can happen when you don't have a shamanic guide yourself, and then life or Mother Nature takes over for that guide. And as we know, Mother Nature can be harsh. It's a way of teaching us compassion, humility, and by stripping away everything that we are, it's just us and God left to have the conversation as to what road we're going to take next. The reason I share this is that a lot of people in perfection culture feel a lot of guilt and shame and blame when it comes to their life coming apart. Not that it's not painful, not that we're not accountable, but this is actually typically part of the shamanic path. And what's wild to think about is that this is only 2 of 4 that I would experience in my life. before I actually take up the mantle of shaman, where literally everything you have is gone. It's sort of like when an asteroid hits the Earth and it eliminates 90% of life. There's still life left. The Earth will bounce back, but it's going to take a while. And I'm looking in the mirror like, I don't know if we have a while. Not only am I in the emotional state I was in a few years ago, but now I'm $100,000 in debt. Lose my car, lose my house, lose my girlfriend, sleeping on the floor. I start calling life insurance companies to see if they'll pay out in the event of a suicide. Because if I leave my family behind, I'm not leaving them behind with my debt. I actually plan it out, and I have a dream about everybody in my funeral. My son and my mom are in the front row. I look around and everybody is more confused than they are sad. Nobody knew that I had a problem. I never asked for help. I was a high-functioning addict. Everybody just saw me as somebody who was running things and doing well. This is the weight that men carry. And we often tie our value to our ability to earn and provide for others. That vision is a turning point for me, and I realize I have a commitment to my son. He gets to keep his dad, and I get to figure this out again. I don't want to rebuild my life again, but I don't really have any other choice at this point. I managed to keep my screen printing machine. I am now screen printing t-shirts in an unair conditioned garage in Utah in the summer, standing between two 900-degree ovens. I'm drinking 3 gallons of water a day, sweating out all the poison, and eliminating all of my entertainment other than self-development, and listening to Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, Don Miguel Ruiz, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, reading my Carlos Castaneda books, because I've decided it's time to go past the surface and start looking at my subconscious programming. I've got a virus in my computer somewhere, and it's got to go. This is where Root Alchemy is born. Part 6, coming up next.